How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another session of the Let's Talk Show by Interlingua. I am your host, Mike Ruiz, and today I'm super excited about this show because we're going to talk about one of the topics that I'm very passionate about, which is the supernatural, the mysteries that surround our everyday lives, those things that we don't necessarily have an explanation for, but we feel very curious about. What's exactly out there that is real? What can be explained? What can't be explained? Are some theories real? Are some beings that you fear actually the things that people talk about? We will get into that, but I would really like to open this show with something special, given the fact that I'm in my gala t-shirt. I would like to open this show with one of the quotes of my favorite author, Mr. H.P. Lovecraft. And it goes a little bit like this. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And the oldest and strongest kind of fear is the fear of the unknown. So this should be a thrill ride. Join us, and we will also have guests that have a certain experience and a certain approach to the supernatural and some other mysteries from their everyday lives. So without further ado, let's bring them out. Making his return to the Let's Talk Show, we have Poncho, and making his debut to the Let's Talk Show, we have Ángel. How's it going, guys? Welcome again.
Well, Mike, was great to be considered to appear in the show, and just like you said, for such a great topic today, right? The supernatural, paranormal, and a lot of weird stuff also.
I'm glad that you guys are excited as me, because I think this is a topic that we are all familiar about. But let's bring out first some common ground. First, guys, the million-dollar question. It seems obvious, but let's unravel some of the ideas that you have. Do you believe in the supernatural, Poncho?
I do believe there are things that we cannot explain as of right now. I believe that there are a lot of things out there that might seem like we don't really have an explanation. Eventually, I'm hoping that we will. But yeah, I do.
Fair enough. What about you, Ángel? Do you believe in the supernatural?
Absolutely. I mean, let me start by telling you a fact that blew my mind first time I heard it. Imagine the Milky Way, right? The galaxy we live in.
Sure.
If the Milky Way were the size of the United States, our solar system, right? Sun, Mercury, Venus, would be the size of a quarter, a coin. So we haven't explored anything, no? It has to be out there. What? We don't know. I cannot tell you, but there is something. We haven't made content yet, but we will eventually. So
which brings me to my next question, guys. Why do you think people are superstitious about this kind of stuff that we sometimes can't explain, but we look for a certain explanation that doesn't necessarily expresses logic? In your personal opinion, let's go back. Why do you think people are superstitious or look for more? Poncho.
I believe that, like you said, people want to find an explanation for things. And if the explanation is beyond your knowledge, I think that the only reasonable thing to believe is that it could be something supernatural, something that you're not able to explain by any means. It doesn't mean, I think, it doesn't mean that it's something supernatural per se, but it's something that you're not able to explain, and that's the only type of explanation that people can bring to it sometimes. But at the same time, I feel like it gives us some type of sense of certainty that things should be in one way or another. And when something happens that it's not supposed to happen, like if you hear, I don't know, somebody talking, footsteps, things moving around, nobody's there and should not be making any sounds or noises, you cannot really explain it. So you find a way to, I don't know, just to like disbelieve it or make yourself aware of what might be going on. And maybe that's what rushes people to actually find an answer. And I think that we all want to know what's out there. Piggybacking on what Angel said, the universe is huge. We don't really know. We don't even know the vast majority of our world. So I guess we're all just eager to know what's out there and trying to find the best explanation we can give to things.
What do you think, Angel?
I think we tend to try to explain things we don't know with complex explanation, right? Like we don't take the easy road. And this also means that we can be right, no? Because think about it, the physics that we know here on Earth may not apply to other solar systems. Right? We've already discovered, for example, that the physics and light, for example, bends around a black hole. So this means that basically anything you can imagine could be true, right? Maybe not here on Earth, but in another galaxy, perhaps. Right? So yeah, we tend to explain things in a way that makes sense to us, right? Based on our experiences and how we perceive the world. And I think that's great, because if you can imagine it, it could be happening, right?
I love that. I love that. And also, guys, based on your experiences, you can speak for yourselves or you can speak for anyone you want. In your personal opinions, why as people are we attracted to this sort of topics like supernatural and everything that, falls in that category? It can be beings from outer space. It can be the endless void of space. It can be ghosts. It can be, cults. It can be even the esoteric. Why do we feel attracted to these sort of things? Poncho.
I feel that it's mainly because of what we've been talking about already. Just understanding what's happening. And I don't know, I feel like people feel the need to have the answers for most of the things. And I don't know, I feel like for these kind of things, everybody wants to be the one with the answer, with the right answer. And everybody wants to believe that they have the right answer for it. So, like, for example, on cults, I believe that a lot of people that fall for those type of cults, it's because they're looking for an answer, an explanation outside of the norm, outside of what society brings them and tells them that it's real, that it's acceptable, that it's the norm. And then somebody comes and tells them, you know what, I have the answers. I have made contact with beings outside of our planet, for example, and I'm the only one that is getting that information, and you can get it to if you form part of this group, of this cult, this religion, and people fall for it because they want to belong and be part of something different that will give them the answers that they're looking for those things that maybe they don't really have another explanation. And I feel like we all want to know what's happening. We all want to know what's, I don't know, talking about supernatural and like ghost stuff and all that. I feel like everybody wants to know what happens after death. Like, nobody can tell you for sure. Like, every religion will tell you, you will go to heaven, you will go to hell, you will go here, there, or there, but nobody really knows. And I feel like we all want to know what's next.
What about you, Ángel?
I think, well, you started by quoting Lovecraft, right? You said that we are afraid of what we don't know. Yeah, right. So we have to explain things somehow. One, in order to not be afraid of them anymore, but also because, like Poncho said, we are curious. Right? Yeah, we don't want to be afraid, but we also want to know what happens next, what happens with ghosts, with poltergeists, with, like you said, astrology. Also, we want to go beyond, and as human beings that we are, and as curious as we are, we need to know, we need to explain stuff to ourselves or to others. I think that's the main reason. We want to know, or like you would say, I want to believe.
Yes. That is actually a very famous quote among the, how can I say, the sci-fi community, or, people interested in everything that has to do with outer space. What is out there? What is it? We still don't know. Well, we have an idea, but it's like the ocean. How much have we actually discovered about it? Oh my God, I'm getting so excited right now, but let me calm down a little bit. Now, let's talk about what you guys have to bring to the table. One by one, bit by bit. Poncho, you have had a very, may I say, bold relationship with an activity that a lot of people might find scary, myself included, which is called the urban exploration. I know what this is about, but maybe our viewers aren't familiar with this concept. Yeah. Would you mind explaining to them what is it about? Urban exploration.
Definitely. So urban exploration is basically that it's in the name. It's exploring urban cities, communities, mainly abandoned buildings. Could be anything from a house, church. I was in an abandoned mall as well. At one point, a hospital, a factory, a windmill. So it's just basically allowing yourself to explore these empty locations in order for you to kind of experience what it is like to be in that atmosphere. And the way I see it, or the reason why I do it and why I like it, is because I've always been interested in, past history, what the buildings were used for, thinking that even though right now maybe abandoned and maybe damaged and maybe surrounded by mystery and a lot of different scary stories and things that people talk about, at one point it was a building that it was occupied. People were either living on it, working on it, just passing by. So I believe that every building accumulates, or everything around us accumulates energy. we're all made out of energy. So I do believe that depending on the type of energy, depending on the type of people that surrounded the building and the atmospheres that surrounds each building, there's a different sense to each building. So whenever you go into one of those buildings, you get a different sensation out of each one of those. Like it wants to tell you their story. So it's a really cool way to experience that. It's not for everybody. A lot of people get scared because most of the times when I do urban exploration, it's at midnight. So I would usually get inside the buildings at around 12 a.m. until 3, 4, 5 a.m. So yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's not meant for everybody.
I confirm that. I confirm. I mean, respect, bro. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it. I get skittish that way. Ángel, as I understand, you are very fond of. Oh man, it sounds so generic for me. I can't find a better use of a word, but for now, let's just call them aliens or outer space beings. Now, recently, there has been news about the US government acknowledging the existence of UFOs, and there has been a lot of leakage of footage of aircrafts actually chasing UFOs at astronomical speeds. What is your thoughts? What is your thought about this? What do you think it will happen? What consequences might come from this? And are you excited about it?
Totally, totally. I love the fact that we're living in the age of technology. So back in the day, say 50 years ago, really very few people had cameras, right? And they were like not the best. Right? So now everybody has a cell phone. So you can just go out, look up, and start recording if you see something that's weird or that you can't explain, right? So, yes, I mean, I was super excited when I heard about the news, right? The former CIA agent telling the world, because, I mean, this news was huge, telling the world that there are alien life forms. No, we don't know if they are like human-like or if they are like how we normally portray aliens, no, like grayish with big black eyes, no, with like deformed head. But I think it's the first step. Everybody knows about the like you said, spacecraft, right, and aliens, right, because I particularly think that if it happens in the near future, I hope I'm here to still. If we are somehow contacted by an outer space civilization, it will be like that. I think that's not my personal opinion. A friendly contact, right?
Yeah. Okay.
If it were not like that, we would have already known a long time ago, right? Because some people say that aliens want to conquer the earth, no? and make humans their slaves. But I don't think that's the case. Because otherwise, we would have become slaves a long time ago. So I think the consequences of a contact, whether we make it, we take the first step, or whether these entities do, it will be a friendly one. Right? And finally, like I said, look at the statistics. With a universe so huge, it would be unlikely that we are alone. So it's just, I think it's really egotistic to think that we are the only beings that made it so far, right? There has to be civilizations. I mean, well, I don't know if you know this, but there are different kinds of civilizations. We are here, right? Some experts have theories about how civilized, right, and as how civilized beings be, and we are nothing compared to them, right? Some civilizations level 6 or 7 have already developed interplanetary threats, right? The use of technology that we can't even imagine. No? So it gives me hope. I really hope I can be here to witness, right? This event.
I really hope I'll be there too. I'm pretty excited about it myself. But please hold that thought. Hold that thought about, types of civilizations and comparing to ours, because I have something for you later on. In the meantime, Poncho, you said a very interesting aspect of your urban explanation about how, a building or a structure can keep its energy from its previous inhabitants. Which brings me to this. Was there a time that you felt an odd sensation when exploring one of these structures? And if so, how was it? And what did you find out about it? Bang.
Definitely. I mean, the answer is yes. Like I said, every structure, every building has its own energy and ambience. We can call like that. And I always get this eerie sensation when I'm inside of an abandoned building. Feel, because it's all filled with emptiness and it's vandalized. And I would say part of the risks of doing this is that some of these buildings are home to homeless people sometimes, or people that just go in and vandalize these structures. So it's also fear of the living, we can call it. But yeah, like I remember one experience particularly in an abandoned mall. This is a mall that has been abandoned for 25 to 30 years now. And it's completely abandoned. And I remember I was walking through a stretch hall. I was really, really stretched. I believe you could only fit like 2 people side by side walking on that aisle. And I started having this sensation like somebody was following me or like somebody's watching me. And sometimes because of the space, because of the emptiness, because of darkness, you can be suggestive, or you can start thinking things and start going crazy. So you have to be careful in those. But I did started feeling like somebody was following me and that somebody was, just like watching me. And I started getting a little nervous and jumpy. Every time I hear something, I would just like immediately turn to try to identify where the noise was coming from. And it's really hard because it's super dark and there's a lot of aisles because it's a mall. And I was started getting this sensation that something was like kind of lurking in the dark and just like looking at me and moving around. And I don't have a way to prove it, of course. It's not in video. I was not able to get that on camera, but I remember walking to an open space in the mall under a dome. So a lot of light came in through that dome. There was a full moon that night, so there was some kind of light coming in through the dome. And I remember walking, and then I felt like I stepped on something, kind of soft, kind of squishy. And when I looked down, I remember seeing a hand, like a pitch black hand, wrapping around my throat, and then disappearing into the floor.
Wow. What was your reaction? I mean, did you just escape from there, or were you just petrified?
No, I stopped for a minute because I initially thought I stepped on a rat or something, an animal, or I don't know, a rag or something. And I just looked down, I saw the hand, I saw it disappearing into the floor. And I remember thinking something that I'm not going to say, but I started just looking for an explanation. I was on the top floor, so I immediately went downstairs to the same spot, like underneath where I was, to try to find, I don't know, like an explanation to it. I couldn't find it. I don't know what it was, but I'm 100% sure it was a hand.
Wow. Guys, I think this is a very complex topic that we could talk for hours and hours and hours. However, unfortunately, it is almost time to wrap things up. But before we do so, it is time for our now traditional rapid fire round. Poncho, Ángel, theories you wish were true or proven. Poncho.
I'm honestly not much of an expert on theories, but I guess I'm with the Angel in that just I feel like the universe is so huge, so vast, and we know so little that there must be other intelligent beings out there, not necessarily made carbon made like humans, not humanoid, but there must be life out there.
Ángel.
It has to be time traveling. I would love to see T-Rex in the place.
Wow. That's good. That's good. That's so good. Oh my God. Now, thinking about specimens, supernatural being you find very interesting. Poncho.
There's the idea of some type of Yeti that wanders in Russia. And I don't know if you're familiar with the incident on the Dyatlov Pass, which is basically a group of people, mountaineers that got lost in the mountains, and they all died out of unnatural ways. They were all fine without eyes, and some of them were missing organs, and some of them were also filled with radiation in the mountains in Russia. And the reports basically stated that they were overcome by a unnatural force. They don't know what it is, but people talk about some type of Yeti that wanders the mountains.
Ángel, supernatural being you find interesting.
I mean, like, well, aliens of any kind. Again, when we think about aliens, we think of the standard alien. But what about something like a being made of light only, right? Or particles that we don't even know about yet? Yeah, alien life form.
Okay. A supernatural entity, not necessarily real or not proven to be real, that you fear. Poncho.
I wouldn't say I fear this, but I feel like it's the one that I feel more attracted to, or
Okay.
curious about, which is the poltergeist activity. There's a lot of different theories about it, non-proven. Some talk about ghosts. Some talk about just electric magnetic fields that affect just the field around us. I don't know. I feel like that's what I feel most attracted to.
Ángel?
I would say ghosts, right? I think Poncho said that. I mean, we know we are energy. So ghosts, if given they have a bad energy, could harm you in ways you couldn't even imagine.
That's so
Like
deep.
ghost apparition.
All right. Guys, this has been amazing for me. I had so much fun, but it's time to go. Not before thanking you of being here, taking the time to participate in our show. And remember, you are always welcome here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And good to see you, and good to see all of our viewers who gladly tuned in. Be sure to follow the Let's Talk show on a weekly basis. Every single week we have a new show, a new topic to talk about to help you improve your English skills. Ángel was with us, Poncho was with us, Eric Rios was in the controls. Another Poncho was in charge of the editing. I am Mike. Goodbye. Mwah, and good night. Bye.